Only quick recap on this engine loom. Thumbs up. I unsuccessfully tried to chop the top of my thumb off, which has kind of got in the way of my dexterity to be able to do this job. Luckily I've got this spare plastic thumb, which helps. But recap, engine in. Looms around here I've not really modified. Engine loom goes round, standard Micra. The power loom, starting off with the battery there. Again, I've not really modified that as such. I've just prematurely poked it through the bulkhead and kept the relays and the fuse link box just on the other side of that bulkhead. That's the only thing I had to do to get that to work. So the engine bit, the engine loom and the short power loom are pretty standard. The real freaking headache one is this internal loom. So this is everything driver's side in the cabin, and I've considerably reduced this down. What I have not done, and I've been a little bit lazy with this, and there's a reason I've done it. I've not really reduced much of this girth on this main trunking of this internal loom. For a couple of reasons is, one is I'm lazy and I can't be bothered. The other reason is, if I start taking all this tape off, the whole loom is just going to collapse. It's just going to like fall apart and lose its shape. So I've tried to keep as much of the branching of this taped up as I can. So there's going to be a lot of wires in this girth here, which are going to be redundant, because I've shortened some bits and I've chopped out other bits. Today I've chopped out all these bits, whether I should have done or whether I shouldn't. So there's a whole bunch of heater controls here, the aircon switch, the blower switch, the illuminations for switches, all dead-ended. I had nothing to plug into these plugs. You know, I haven't got the Micra full dashboard in with all the switches or anything like that. So I've been a bit ruthless and chopped out airbag things and the radio stereo thing, some speaker cables, odds and sods, and I've just been left with what you see there. But like I say, I could have gone a bit further, but I just couldn't be bothered. And one of the other reasons I couldn't be bothered is this has got the Nissan anti-theft system built into the loom, and that NATS anti-theft system wiring is interconnected with lots of little different things, like the central lock-in, the remote central lock-in. It even wires itself into the speakers for an audible signal if there's something wrong. So I didn't want to strip out too much, for the fact I didn't want to give myself an immobilisation issue or reduce that. So you're looking at that internal loom, looking from the engine side as though I'm looking through the windscreen. You've got the power leads coming in there off that big red battery terminal there. It just shoots back through the bulkhead there to where the wiper motor is, so you know where that is. There's a couple of other plugs there which connect to where the other loom coming through the engine bay, the one with the ECU on connects. So that connects back onto the engine loom there. So that's power loom coming off the battery. That's the ECU engine loom connection there. There's a couple of switches I've left on. I've left on the heated rear screen one, in case I ever want to jockey anything onto that. And I've also left on the hazards plug. There's an internal light wire there, which I've left on. We come to the instrument cluster there, which is that one. So we're somewhere in the middle of the dashboard now. It comes round and it'll approach the driver's side parcel shelf here. So there'll be the fuse box connected onto these plugs here, which you'll see. So there's another central locking box there, which I've shortened and kept on, just in case it interferes with the nuts, like I say. And then we've got this connection area here. One of the plugs goes back through to the driver's side engine side for the lights, the driver's side lights and other little hookup parts on the driver's side of the engine bay, which I think is that one and that one. So they go through to the engine bay, and then this one here, this brown one, I'm connecting that up and over the car to the back of the car for the petrol tank rear lights. And then this little arm comes off here, goes up the steering column somewhere to the stalks, to the ignition barrel, and that's it. That is the internal one. So there are some little arms coming off here, which are elsewhere. They're not on this table. One going out to the back of the car, and one going through the driver's side bulkhead to the engine bay. So that's it. I've left a few lives sticking out, just there, look. I've got a 15 amp live there, which I think came off the cigarette lighter. Might jockey something into that. I've got another 20 amp live coming out there, which I can possibly use somewhere else. Yeah, so just be careful of the earths when you're cutting this down, because these earths, these black wires, they crisscross all over the place, connecting together, joining up, 2 joining to 1, 3 joining to 1, they crisscross everywhere. And I think people, what I've read on social media, what I've said, yeah, that's working. Yeah, what I've seen on social media is when things don't work, when they come to start the car or they're doing the electrical checks, it's generally bad earths. So somewhere in the loom, one of the black wires or 2 of the black wires are actually not connected to earth. So you've got to be careful with that. But it's relatively straightforward. It's just time consuming. And you have to take your time. You can't rush it. Cutting down wires and joining them back together again. You don't want to be creating yourself a fire risk. All your joints have got to be spot on. Else, you're going to be increasing the resistance on your wires and they'll overheat and you don't want a fire. So take your time, get your connections bang on, and shorten what you can. But as I've done here, I've done it in a way that the loom hasn't dissolved, and I've taken all that tape off. So yeah, that's where we are. I'll get it in the car and we'll come back and have a look. Cheers, everybody. Well, where I've got that 11 plug coming out of the cabin loom, which is on the driver's side parcel shelf, there's 10 wires. I'm going to come off that parcel shelf, which is behind the steering wheel, and go into the roll cage. There's the roll cage leg coming up. I'm going to take the 10 wires, once I've attached this block to them, using these spade terminals, up and over the leg of the roll cage, and then exiting at the back of the car, up at the just below where the headlining would be, and got the boot wires, petrol pump, sender, rear lights, couple of spare wires, all going on there. So now I'm going to attach this to them 10 wires.